widow of conservative activist Charlie Kirk is taking over the organization her husband helped to establish. Erika Kirk was officially named as CEO of Turning Point USA by the group's board. In a post on social media today, the board said the organization will carry on and not surrender to evil. Charlie Kirk was fatally shot during an open-air event on the campus of Utah Valley University on September 10th.
Erika Kirk has just been exposed for allegedly exploiting Charlie's death to seize control of Turning Point USA. Now, Candace Owens is preparing to confront her face-to-face. The organization has officially summoned Candace for a public debate this week, and she's not coming empty-handed. She's reportedly bringing text messages, videos, and even recorded statements that she claims reveal how those closest to Charlie betrayed him. It all goes back to September 10th, 2025, during a major debate event for Charlie's American Comeback Tour at Utah Valley University in Orem, a day that erupted into chaos in front of nearly 3,000 stunned students. Reports say the very people who helped organize the event were standing mere feet away when the tragedy struck. At exactly 12:33 p.m., the unthinkable happened. Just 33 hours later, police arrested Tyler Robinson as the primary suspect, but that was only the beginning of the strange and disturbing twists. Tyler's arrest, his confession, and the alleged escape only raised more questions than answers. Something felt deeply wrong. Sources claimed Charlie had seen the danger coming, and insiders at Turning Point USA were allegedly aware as well. He had warned his own security team about a credible threat, yet no measures were taken. After Charlie's death, Candace launched her own investigation, diving into flight records from that very day. What she uncovered was chilling. A private jet linked to Egyptian military contractors reportedly touched down at Provo Airport just 21 minutes before Charlie was targeted. Whatever truly happened that day, one thing is clear: this story is far from over. And now, the truth that everyone has been waiting for might finally be on the verge of coming to light.
22-year-old Tyler Robinson is charged in his killing. Charlie Kirk co-founded Turning Point USA in 2012. The group is credited with energizing the youth vote in Donald Trump's 2024 presidential election victory.
On September 10th, 2025.
And I do believe that because you are not forthcoming about the information that you have about Charlie texting you guys and saying that he thought he was going to be assassinated that very next day. Okay? The day that he died, Charlie knew that he thinks he was going to be killed tomorrow, and you guys are...
The real question isn't just why those military contractors were involved. It's who they were actually working for. And that's where everything gets insane. Charlie was navigating a world filled with people he could never fully trust. Egyptian military contractors landing in Utah on the exact same day as him, only to take off less than an hour later? That doesn't sound random. That sounds deliberate. Even worse, that same jet had reportedly been spotted near Charlie's events for over a year. Some sources even claim it was tracking Erika too, which leads to the chilling question everyone is whispering behind the scenes. Where is Dana? And was Charlie's tragedy part of a bigger plan designed to position Erika right into his place? It sounds unreal at first, but once you start connecting the dots after what happened to him, everything suddenly lines up. The official explanation simply doesn't make sense. It's packed with holes, contradictions, and strange details nobody can justify. Even Joe Rogan questioned the story from day one, pointing out how bizarre the entire situation sounds. There's a supposed shooter who gets arrested, locked away instantly, and then becomes completely unreachable. There's a weapon authorities claim is from World War I, yet it somehow looks spotless, polished, and has zero serial number. Then they expect us to believe this suspect took the rifle apart and rebuilt it on a rooftop under pressure, with perfect timing and supposedly no training whatsoever. Seriously? They want the public to accept that someone with zero experience pulled off a precision hit using a century-old weapon. And it gets even more ridiculous. Reports mention a so-called confession message carved into a bullet, something that defies logic altogether.
I can now report to you that it is a fact that on 9/4, there were, this was not some dropping by in Utah as they were trying to claim because the plane needed to be serviced. That's what they ran with. They ran with, this could have been a routine servicing. I guess there's just no place from Egypt all the way to Utah that an Egyptian military plane can like get a tire changed. This is totally routine, nothing to see here. Well, I'm telling you that for a fact, that plane was carrying military subcontractors. And for a fact, they were dropped off in Provo, okay?
Now, multiple former military snipers are stepping forward saying they're convinced there was a second shooter involved. The ballistics don't line up. And unbelievably, there wasn't even a complete ballistic analysis done on Charlie's case. Something is being buried, and people are beginning to question why. Authorities claimed they discovered the weapon deep in the woods, just sitting there, and immediately declared it the gun used in the attack. That's the level of investigation they're calling complete. According to Candace Owens, a trusted insider told her federal officials were allegedly pressuring Utah investigators to shut the case down quickly. She said the pressure came from higher up, pushing everyone to stamp it as a lone gunman narrative and walk away. Meanwhile, something else has been raising serious suspicion. Ever since Erika stepped in to lead Turning Point, the entire organization has shifted direction, drifting away from everything Charlie built. The very people he refused to align with are now controlling his legacy, rewriting the values he spent years fighting to protect. And then there's Erika's behavior after the tragedy, something fans and analysts still can't stop dissecting. Just days after Charlie's death at his memorial, she made a bizarre comment saying J.D. Vance reminded her of Charlie. That single moment caught everyone off guard. Her tone, her posture, her demeanor, none of it matched the gravity of what had just happened. Body language analysts have gone through her footage frame by frame, and what they saw didn't resemble genuine heartbreak. It looked refined, rehearsed. Her supposed grief didn't feel spontaneous. It felt staged, almost like she already knew exactly how she needed to act once Charlie was out of the picture.
And that they did not make it back to Cairo. I showed you the plane left. They left on September 10th. It then laid over in Wilmington, Delaware, and departed back for Cairo on the 11th. I am telling you that when that plane left, okay, those people were mysteriously missing from that plane, okay? What's going on here? What are Egyptian military subcontractors doing in the middle of Provo, Utah on the day that Charlie Kirk was assassinated?
And just when everyone thought things couldn't get any more uncomfortable, Erika dropped a shocking joke when asked about her connection to J.D. Vance, making an inappropriate comment that immediately went viral. The clips spread like wildfire, leaving audiences stunned and questioning what was really happening behind the scenes. The deeper people dug into Turning Point USA after Charlie's passing, the stranger it all became. Suddenly, new staff members were climbing the ranks. Longtime allies were quietly removed. The mission Charlie had painstakingly built from scratch started to look completely unrecognizable. Insiders whispered that everything was being restructured, but no one could point to who was really in control. And that's when Erika Kirk's name began appearing at the center of it all, not as a grieving widow, but as a commanding figure, steering the organization in an entirely new direction. For years, Turning Point had been Charlie's baby, an empire forged through sleepless nights, relentless travel, and a tireless drive to engage young audiences across America. But almost overnight, the tone changed. Charlie's fiery speeches and spontaneous rallies were gone, replaced by polished, scripted events and a new lineup of unfamiliar faces running the show. People who had never been close to Charlie were suddenly making high-stakes decisions in his name. It didn't take long before longtime supporters noticed something deeply wrong. Candace Owens, who had been close to Charlie both personally and professionally, refused to stay silent. She began asking tough questions, not only about the tragedy itself, but about the sudden, aggressive power grab that followed. On her podcast, she revealed she had never seen anything like it, describing just how fast control had shifted. It was almost like there was a playbook, she said, hinting that these plans may have been set in motion long before Charlie's last day.
Grandfather's rifle from World War I and doesn't have a serial code. Okay.
Interesting.
Okay. Why? Wait. Why are you using such an old gun? Like, that's kind of crazy. Like, is it possible that an old gun can be that accurate? If you have a gunsmith and they work on it, yeah, it's totally possible. You have a really good gunsmith and he sets, if you're like a nostalgic person, you like driving an old car, you could bring it to a mechanic, they could redo the brakes.
Sure.
So if you got a good gunsmith and he took a look at that and the action was true and, you know, the bore is good, you know, yeah, you could conceivably shoot with a gun for hundreds of years, right? Guns don't necessarily go bad.
Right, they don't
And the moment Candace started asking questions, people began paying attention. Multiple insiders reportedly told her that right after the tragedy, new contracts were being signed, new funding sources suddenly appeared, and confidential donor lists were being accessed by people who had never had clearance before. It was as if a door had been swung wide open, and no one could shut it again. Candace began collecting documents, screenshots, and communication logs that she claims reveal a coordinated effort to consolidate power at the exact moment confusion and grief were at their peak. What made it even more unsettling was how quickly Erika adapted to her new position. Within days, she was showing up at press events, delivering polished interviews, and speaking confidently about the next chapter of the organization. To many observers, her tone felt rehearsed, almost as if she had been preparing for this moment long before it arrived. Viewers commented that every word carried a sense of performance, while others defended her, saying she was simply projecting strength in public during an impossible time. Still, those who had worked closely with Charlie couldn't shake the feeling that something was off. Behind closed doors, rumors spread that several long-term staffers had been pressured into signing non-disclosure agreements, effectively preventing them from sharing internal matters with the media. One former team member, speaking anonymously, claimed meetings began taking place without official minutes, leaving no paper trail of who approved which decisions. That's when Candace allegedly obtained emails showing certain figures inside Turning Point coordinating with outside consultants, some with deep ties to foreign organizations. While technically legal, the revelations raised serious ethical questions about influence, control, and whose interests were really being served. Meanwhile, online forums began circulating footage of Erika attending private gatherings just weeks before Charlie's final event, gatherings hosted by individuals who had never been publicly associated with Turning Point before.
Right, and especially because all the stuff, like the trigger and the action and all that different stuff is replaceable, so you can just, like, it's compartmentalized, it's components. There's the other thing. They said that he took it apart and then put it back together again. Shut the f*** up. Do you know how much time it would take to do that if you were highly skilled?
to disassemble a gun.
To disassemble a rifle so that you can get it in a backpack. And by the way, not going to fit.
Not gonna fit in a backpack.
And then somehow or another reconnects it once he gets off the roof? What?
The timing of those meetings, combined with the sudden financial reshuffling, ignited intense speculation that the organization's leadership was being quietly replaced from within. Suddenly, the story of Charlie's passing began to shift, from a single tragic moment to something far more complex and unsettling. Even stranger, a wave of anonymous social media accounts began posting messages defending Erika while discrediting Candace. All of the accounts used similar language, matching hashtags, and even identical profile pictures, a clear sign of coordination. Some claimed to be insiders protecting Erika's reputation, but none could be verified. Cyber investigators noted that several of these accounts traced back to the same server cluster used by digital marketing firms in Los Angeles, the same city where Erika was reportedly holding secret strategy sessions at the time. Candace refused to back down. During one of her live streams, she revealed that she had obtained text exchanges allegedly showing that Charlie had been under immense stress in his final months. He reportedly confided in close friends that he felt watched, that certain meetings felt unsafe, and even that his travel schedule appeared compromised. He knew something was off, Candace said, her voice sharp and unwavering. He just didn't know who to trust anymore. Meanwhile, multiple Turning Point chapters across the country began breaking away. Some publicly stated that they no longer recognized the national leadership, claiming it had abandoned the principles Charlie had fought to uphold. Donations plummeted in the following weeks as supporters grew confused and worried about who was truly in charge. While Erika continued giving confident speeches about moving forward, the silence from Charlie's own parents spoke volumes. They hadn't appeared at any official events since the memorial, leaving the public asking why. Then came a particularly chilling twist. Flight manifests from that fateful September day resurfaced online. Investigators reviewing them found inconsistencies, unexplained gaps, and discrepancies in passenger counts that couldn't easily be explained. Some of those flights were linked to private contractors, including the very same ones rumored to have landed at Provo Airport just minutes before Charlie's incident.
This guy is equally sane, and he's saying, hey, look, that appears to me to be an exit wound, and when I go and look at this, and by the way, Kash Patel said on Sunday that the FBI is looking at leads, including the location of the shot and the angle of the bullet, potentially a second shooter. And that's what Kash Patel said on the Sunday news show. So this does not appear, Pat, that it's one crazy person.
Does this say that Kash Patel said there's a second shoot?
Yes, sir.
Rob, can you zoom in a little bit, please? I'm 46. Thank you. Director of FBI committed to ensuring the investigation into Charlie's assassination person. The full weight of Americans law enforcement is active following the extended.
Theories exploded across social media, but mainstream coverage stayed oddly silent, almost like everyone had been told to keep things toned down. Meanwhile, Erika's new version of Turning Point began announcing partnerships that had nothing to do with Charlie's original mission. Instead of grassroots activism and college outreach, everything suddenly revolved around luxury events, private sponsors, and elite conferences. The brand was being polished, commercialized, and fully rebranded, as if Charlie's raw authenticity was being erased piece by piece. Supporters who once saw him as a voice for students now felt pushed aside by what the organization had turned into. Determined to expose everything, Candace announced she would confront Erika live at the upcoming public debate. Her team teased video footage, financial records, and private correspondences that would allegedly change the entire narrative. The internet went crazy. Fans were calling it the showdown of the year, Erika versus Candace, truth versus performance. And yet behind all the noise, one chilling question hangs in the air. What really happened to Charlie? Was it just a tragic incident, or was something much darker unfolding behind the scenes? Why were powerful people so desperate to shut the investigation down? And why did the narrative shift so fast? Insiders still claim the real truth is buried inside confidential reports and sealed files only a select few are allowed to see. But with the public debate approaching, Candace looks ready to blow the entire story wide open. Believe her or not, one thing is undeniable. This situation has spiraled into a storm of secrets, betrayals, and hidden agendas.
We are meticulously investigating theories and questioning includes the location where the shot was taken, the possibility of accomplices, text messages, confessions, related conversations, Discord chats, and the angle of the shot and bullet impact, how the weapon was transported, hand gesture observed as potential signals near Charlie. So they're doing all of that. Okay, that's
and
great.
They're saying
some
where
details
the shot was taken.
Some details are known today, while others are still being pursued to ensure every possibility is considered. Our primary focus of complete investigation information will ensure regarding specific details such as questions about the plane regarding the turning off transponder on the assassination side. We can share updates. Okay.
Something massive is building behind the scenes, and when it finally erupts, the fallout could shatter everything Charlie created and everyone connected to it. In those final months, Charlie had begun noticing things that didn't feel right. Unfamiliar faces showing up at his events, strange meetings popping up out of nowhere, and people he barely trusted suddenly inching their way into his inner circle. It was as if he could feel the walls slowly closing in on him. As time went on, Charlie grew more guarded about who he spoke to and what he said. He started openly talking about pressure from certain powerful figures trying to shape his message and control every inch of his platform. In one of his last interviews with Megyn Kelly, his fear was palpable. He described the growing donor influence in his work as walking through a minefield, trying to keep supporters and financial backers satisfied without losing himself in the process. Behind the scenes, Candace Owens later released text messages where Charlie admitted he felt cornered, saying he no longer felt like he was running his own movement. "It's like they've got strings on me," he wrote in one exchange. Those words hit hard because they showed exactly how aware he was of the pressure tightening around him. And that's where things took an even darker turn. Once the people around Charlie realized he couldn't be steered anymore, everything reportedly shifted fast. Just one day before the tragedy, he messaged several colleagues inside Turning Point USA saying he felt like someone was coming after him. According to Candace, at least 3 different people confirmed receiving the same kind of warning from Charlie in those final 24 hours. What makes it even more chilling is that this fear didn't start recently. It went back years. Candace released older messages from 2018 where Charlie almost predicted exactly what would one day happen. He hinted that some of the very people he trusted might eventually turn on him if he ever stopped following their agenda. "If anything ever happens to me," he once wrote, "you'll know why."
You hope that Charlie Kirk's death won't be used by a group we now call bad actors to create a society that was the opposite of the one he worked to build. You hope that. You hope that a year from now, the turmoil we're seeing in the aftermath of his murder won't be leveraged to bring hate speech laws to this country. And trust me, if it is, if that does happen, there is never a more justified moment for civil disobedience than that, ever, and there never will be. Because if they can tell you what to say, they're telling you what to think. There is nothing.
Those words now carry a chilling new weight. Candace made it crystal clear this wasn't going to be dismissed as an accident. She sent a direct, ominous message to those she believes betrayed Charlie, warning they have one last chance to come clean before the truth catches up with them. The tension in her voice said it all. Something massive is about to explode. But it's not just Charlie's legacy on the line anymore. Candace Owens and Tucker Carlson have both reportedly faced serious threats simply for asking the wrong questions. The moment they started uncovering inconsistencies and demanding answers, the pressure hit hard. Candace revealed during a live stream that she'd been told point blank there was an active threat against her if she didn't stop speaking out. Tucker's team also ramped up security after an attempt to intimidate him into abandoning the story entirely. Whatever this is, one thing is clear: powerful forces don't want the truth to get out. Now, even Turning Point USA's head of security has stepped into the spotlight, making a statement that left everyone speechless. He claimed the team did everything they could, but also admitted he had requested local authorities secure the unprotected rooftop, the very one linked to the shooting. That single lapse could have changed everything. Charlie had entrusted this man with his life, paying him millions, and yet in the end, that trust may have cost him everything. Candace Owens isn't backing down. She's preparing for a showdown that could expose one of the most shocking cover-ups of the decade, or completely upend everything we thought we knew about Turning Point USA. Whether you believe she's uncovering a real conspiracy or shaking up the system, one thing is undeniable. Her evidence, her unwavering confidence, and her relentless pursuit of the truth have everyone watching intently. Drop your thoughts below. What do you think really happened? Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and comment your theories. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.